What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Beyond the 90. We've got a very cheesy smile from James. But yeah, we've got James and Scott from Sweet and Sour Soccer. Again, links to all their stuff is down below. So make sure you go check them out, subscribe. Fantastic Wolves channel and also fantastic just neutral channel in general. Guys, I mean, both massive Wolves fans, as you'll be able to hear in the pitch. But James, how's Wolves been over the preseason? How are you doing?
Well, I'm quite tired, and that probably reflects Wolves as well, especially the board, for what's happened this summer. Not very good performances against Crewe, Stoke. Our incomings have been far from exciting. Our outgoings, we've probably let go on loan better players than we've brought in, put it that way. And I'm not looking forward to the season. Scott, over to you.
Yes, go for it, Scott. Again,
yeah, no optimism at all there from James. To be fair, though, he's not too far wrong on the transfer front. We've been absolutely done over by FFP. The worst thing that ever happened to us was finishing in 7th place and getting into Europe, because all that's meant is that UEFA have been on our asses ever since, and they're like taking our accounts and they're going, well, were you a loss making 3 years ago? So, well, that's because we're in the Championship trying to get into the Premier League. It's not our fault we over succeeded in our first year. But yeah, we've had they've basically been on our asses, which just means we have to sell to buy. Nobody wants any of our players that we want to get rid of. So, we're in a bit of a tough situation. I mean, Neves would be the big one, but I think possibly someone might want, but United are only prepared to offer 35. That was the rumour, I think, similar to Arsenal. If we sell him for that, then we probably deserve to go down just based on that decision alone, to be honest. But yeah, not massively positive. I mean, look, we've made a good signing in Trincao on loan. I think you guys wanted him. I know you, Neel, obviously you wanted him, didn't you? You were a bit gutted, but you guys didn't get him. So there is some positives, but it's not been our best transfer window, put it that way.
We're not even signing him. It was a loan. We're bringing in players in positions that we've got anyway. Morgan Gibbs-White, Adama, Neto. Oh, hold on. We want to go from a 5 at the back to a 4 at the back. We haven't really got any defenders that can play in a back 4. So let's get another winger. Brilliant. Well done. Club's finished.
I know that. Do you know what? You say it's finished. It's maybe just a stabilization time. You just got to go through this process until they change it around. Because I'm surprised. Again, you were saying I'm surprised they didn't come after us. Because again, we went from Championship to nearly relegated to winning the league, and in Championship. But again, it's just roll the dice with these things. You never know. But again, just one play. Again, as soon as I heard it was announced, because again, this came out of nowhere. The Trincao thing, James. I mean. We were again the year before we got him, we were looking at him going, okay, we've put in a 45 million euro bid that was declined by Barcelona with the option, 2 years option to buy as well. So you might have a player on your hands, but honestly, if Leicester are wanting him without sounding too, my team's great, but it is a good sign. But it's signing him, but keeping hold of him as well. And I think you potentially can for 25 mil. It's a steal.
That's the thing. I think we've got lucky in that respect that you probably were trying to negotiate Barcelona at their height of having, a wealth of money. Messi was coming towards the end of his contract. Even last season, they were splashing out cash like no man's business. And we've just got lucky that all this has come out over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months about Barcelona's struggles. To turn down a 45 million euro bid and within 12 months have a buy-in clause for 25 million is crazy. And as you alluded to, if it doesn't matter whether you're Wolves, Accrington Stanley or Manchester City, if you manage to get a player that Leicester scouting team deem worthy of £45 million bids, because not that you don't spend that kind of money, you will on the right player, but you don't really throw out those sums of money for no reason. So the fact we've got him, or your scouting network's done the hard work, you can't really moan. If he turns out to be anything like a Mahrez or a Kante in terms of a potential, then wow, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Scott, I think you share the same. Well, up to you, but similar things on Grintal. Because not gonna lie, at the time, I think a lot of Leicester fan base were like, we were fuming, going, "What? They've just gone and done what to
Even
who?"
we didn't know.
Yeah,
Exactly. It was just
Hull.
it came out, and we knew when you guys knew.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Fabrizio, he didn't even know. So, when that happens, it's been a secret transfer, don't you? But yeah, I completely agree, pretty much with what James said. Obviously, we've just took advantage of Barcelona's dire situation. I think they're only just about sorting out the Messi contract situation, and still they've obviously still got all their pre-contract signings like Aguero, Depay, but still haven't actually been registered yet. It's an absolute madness, but thankfully we've took advantage of that madness. I think that's going to be an exciting one, isn't it? Definitely. And as James says, if you guys are willing to pay 45 million euros, you guys usually sell players on for a profit. There's not many times you look at Leicester and think, you know what, they've made a loss there. You guys usually bring someone in, sell them on for double their value. It's something that I think other clubs like us, Everton, maybe Aston Villa, those that are trying to fish in that same region to break that top six with the owners they have, need to look up to and need to look at the model that you guys have implemented, because I think that's the only way to do it, really. And I think we need to be a bit more shrewd with that kind of stuff going forward.
I think it was just take time. Again, bearing in mind we've had to change we've had a one-off season. And again, the owners could have gone, that's it, great, thanks, pack up your bags, lads. And part of me was like, okay, we're not going to get better than this. Have a nice day, guys. But we had to change. And again, it's took literally to the point, I think we've got 4 players left that were part of the Premier League winning squad at the moment. Yeah. All of them have been completely changed. And it's just going to take time for you to adapt that mentality. But I think going forward, especially, James, you got with him, and obviously, well, get first on to Jimenez. It's just good to see him back. And I know he was one of my favorite strikers in the Premier League, just to be totally honest with you. But how's he been in pre-season, and how's the injury holding up? Because obviously we hate to see a play like that happen.
Of course, yeah, he was a player that I don't think there's a fan. I've said this a few times on this channel, well, our channel, that Jimenez is a player that no other fan, even if you are a Villa fan, like I love Grealish as a Wolves fan. I know he plays for Villa, but I feel like other fans feel that about Jimenez. He's always playing with a smile. He's a bit different. He's got a bit of flair about him. I think a lot of fans liked him, and when it happened, of course, it crushed us as a fan base and as a club. He's done okay since he's come back. I feel like he's got to wear the protective head guard for the foreseeable, probably for his career now. To sit here and say, oh, he's going to come back and score another 15 goals in the league, which, would be nice. If we see, Scott's used this expression before when I've used it on other channels since pre-season started, if he comes back 75% of that player that can score 15, 16 goals in all competitions, I'd be very happy. He's done okay. He scored a nice tap-in earlier on, a few days ago, so that was nice. But again, Stoke and playing against, Man City and I was going to say Spurs, but not Spurs. At Villa and Leicester, it's going to be tougher tests.
Yeah, and I think just obviously on a kind of that and kind of building on from that, Scott, in terms of obviously Jimenez through the middle, Trincao to the right, and then Neto to the left. That's going to be a hard opposition for any team to really come against, to be honest. Because and then if you're playing wing backs, then you've got Adama Traore on that wing back as well. You've got quite an attacking squad, and I know that the manager, is it Large?
Yeah, I think it literally Large without the R. I think so. Yeah,
And he's from what I've read, I don't really know too much about non-Premier League teams, but he's known to be a bit more attacking football. You're going to have quite an attacking squad next season, and that's obviously kind of what you wanted away from Nuno, a little bit more attacking football. And having that, I think, you're going to be a real force to be reckoned with, I think, next season.
Yeah, I think the main thing for us is sorting out our defensive woes. I think, as you say, attackingly going forward, we look exciting now. I think there's he might play a 5 at the back, but he's also played 4-4-2 before, and he's definitely already tried that with us. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes about that. I mean, you're not talking about the classic Harry Redknapp, big guy, small guy, 4-4-2, but what you are talking about is, of course, a bit more of a 4-4-2 where you have that, I suppose, I don't know, like a striker that can also play attack in mid. So
he likes to play just very quickly, he likes to play that double 6 formation where your defenders are 6 and attackers are 6. So your 2 central midfielders, like a classic 4-4-2, they do a lot of the work. So they will join your attacking lineup where the defense doesn't really track back as much, and there's not as much onus on the wingers to get back, like what Beckham would do, and Barmby and old school wingers like that kind of thing. So I don't know how it'll work in the Prem when you've got Matinho and Neves in the midfield as your engine. Doesn't scream legs.
No, of course, Matinho's losing his legs, but it's going to be exciting attackingly. I think that's how we're looking at it as Wolves fans at the moment. We're really excited about the attacking potential, but defensively, we've still not signed a centre-back since coming up. Of course, the only one we did sign was Willy Bolly, but that was like a loan, which we made into a permanent. And I think that's where we're struggling. We're kind of a bit like you guys at the moment as well, with centre-back injuries. Obviously, the Fofana one, which was unfortunate. We're looking a bit scarce at centre-backs, and both our starting centre-backs for the first game, obviously, against you guys, could be Cody and Sice if we line up in a back 4. And let's face it, neither of them are probably natural centre-back pairing. Like they're more midfielders, converted centre-backs, and there's questions around whether Cody could play in a back 4, but I definitely don't think Size can. So that's really where the scare is for I think Wolves fans at the moment. We want to see centre back signings. I think a bit like you guys, we wouldn't mind James Tarkowski to come in, but I don't know if we're going to have the money to do so.
Yeah, we're going to have to see about that one again. By the time this comes out, we have no idea, because apparently
didn't we sign one centre back? Sorry to cut you off. Yerson Mosquera, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, Colombian centre-back. He's quite young, but he's already looking quite sharp. But unfortunately, he's gone and pulled a hamstring. So is Willy Bolly. Yeah. So that's where we're struggling.
Yeah, we've got 2 fit centre-backs, and Cody doesn't play in the back 4. So it's exciting times.
We literally, when you said that, we had the same thing. I think 2 seasons ago, we were crying out for a centre-back. And we had what was it? I was looking at it, and I think we had Harry Maguire, Wes Morgan, and then that's it. Like, there was nobody else pretty much. And there was Bella Luan, he was kind of the player that were two-footed tackle players. And we just go, get him, don't get him even near the first team. So like, he wasn't an option. And we got this player called Molly Wagyu in. I was like, okay, it's backup. I've never heard of him. Got injured the first day, pulled a hamstring, out for the rest of the season. And we're just going, oh my God, what has happened here? But hopefully he's better than that.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, I thought you'd had Johnny Evans by then. Hasn't he been at Leicester for a while now? Or have I made that
2018, but I think that year it was 2017. I think it was the beginning of 2018. So, the season we got him that summer. We just needed backup.
Yeah. And speaking of centre backs, obviously I know it's not a Leicester show, but so unlucky for you guys. Like, Fofana, if you do watch this channel, my heart goes out to you, man, because he got injured in the last game last season against Spurs, didn't he, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah. In the first half, came off crying. And then, obviously, what happened to him, it's sad news, man. Sad news.
We just wish he has a big a speedy recovery. But you know what? I was speaking to a couple of older fans, and as you guys know from going down to the games, and they go, back in the day, a lot of people were thinking, and you could just tell from the ground, that it's a leg, that's a career-ending injury. Back in the day, that's a broken leg's a career-ending injury. Now, the fact with all the modern medicine technology and everything, they can come back within the year is a miracle within itself. So, definitely. Put a positive spin on it, like the likes of Jermaine Genius. I mean, Kieran Dyer. I always forget, because we had a couple of Dyer at Leicester. I think Kieran Dyer, and again broke his leg. I think at Leicester, about 30 years old.
Luke Shaw.
Yeah, Luke Shaw again come back from that, and he's just
Alan Smith. I think Alan Smith came back a little bit, didn't he?
I'm not too sure about that. I can't really remember. But again, it just shows you. But I kind of moving on from that. Obviously we've talked on the manager, but you've mentioned the formations. One person I wanted to come back to it, or a couple of players. One player had a loan. You loaned in last year that you made permanent, Ait Nouri, James, and another person is Gibbs White, who I've been quite interested to keep an eye on. Now is he come back into the team for good now in Gibbs White, because he looks quite a talent, but where's he going to play if he play 4-4-2?
That's a good question. Me and Scott take quite a separate approach when it comes to young talent at Wolves. We are willing to give players a chance. Morgan Gibbs-White is sadly seen as a little bit of a meme at Wolves. Like, he's just like a get out of jail free card for any kind of bad performance, even if he does get the winning goal or the winning assist or whatever the case may be. I'm glad he's here. There's something a bit special about having not only a young player, but a player that grew up 5 minutes from you and you would have, gone to the same playground and the same shop, that kind of thing. It's special. I'm glad he's here. We recalled him from Swansea in January. Nuno was never his biggest fan. Apparently he had issues with him off the field. He ended up injuring Bowley in training once, and he was out for like 2 or 3 months. That didn't help their relationship. So with Morgan Gibbs-White, I'd be really excited to see where he plays. But as you mentioned, if you've got Neto on one side, Trincao on the other, Adama, you mentioned he might play wing back. I don't think he will with Ligier, I think it's meant to be pronounced. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Morgan Gibbs-White. And who was the other player?
Ait Nouri, you had on loan, you made permanent.
Ait Nouri, yeah, we spoke about this a lot. The reported fee when we got him on loan from, I want to say Angers, was 18 million. And it was a bit like, it's a lot of money. We had a lot of other players on loan with options to buy in terms of, what was his name, Scott? The Cam, who we didn't... Vintina, he was 18 million. William Jose, which the less we say about, the better. But we managed to get Ait Nouri for 10 million. So I'm really happy with that.
Okay. And what about you, Scott? Obviously, them two, Ait Nouri and Gibbs White as well, in your perspective as well, because obviously 2 young players that could kind of develop under you as well.
Yeah, so I think Ait Nouri is going to be our starting left back for sure. I think with... I suppose he is going to have to compete with Marcel, who's a left back which we signed last year. I don't think many people will have heard of him, basically because he spent the whole year on the treatment table. But he might be the starting left back for experience, but we'll see on that one. But yeah, we signed him for 10 million. I think that was a great fee. 10 million with a 50% buy-on clause. We also sold another left back called Vinagre, who we had for the exact same deal. We sold him for that £10 million with a 50% sell-on clause coming our way. So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with Ait Nouri. I think he's got all the potential to go right to the top. More attackingly minded than he is defensively skilled at the moment. So it's going to be interesting if we do play a 4, how that'll work out. But I think all in all, he's a very exciting talent. I mean, moving on to Gibbs White, I think if we play that 4-4-2, he might be that second kind of striker attacking mid. He could fit into there. I think he's been used in pre-season there, and he scored a few goals in pre-season. I think he scored, I say a few. We've not played many friendlies, but I think he's got himself on the score sheet twice. From what he's been saying in interviews, he seems to love playing under Large. He seems to be a lot more... positive in interviews regarding the manager. I think it's no secret that him and Nuno didn't get on, as James alluded to. Willy Bolly basically, Gibbs White injured him in training, and Nuno's response to that was, yeah, you're not playing until Bowley comes back, which is one of the most ridiculous things I've heard. And, he didn't play until he come back, and I think he was, probably 20 years old at the time.
Great management.
He killed a big part of his career.
Great management. If Fergie would have done that, everyone would have been, applauding him. Great management.
Yeah, it's a strange one. And obviously, the last time you guys played, again, literally, it's the reverse fixture, I think. Well, not reverse fixture, the same fixture that it was 3 years ago, I think when you guys, I think the second year in the Premier League it was. Was it 2019 or 2018? I can't remember the exact year. I think it was 2019 maybe. You guys played the 0-0 draw with the VAR handball. And it was quite, I think we were both looking. Yeah, exactly. And looking at it going, God, we skipped one there because we were so excited for the new season. And let's face it, I think the game was a bit of a drab for both ends, and it wasn't great. It wasn't great, but I think, James, we can expect a bit more of a scoring, bit more of a higher scoring game this time.
I'd say so. We either, us and Leicester, or we either tend to get 0-0s or 4-3s. There's either 5 or 6 goals or none. So I'm hoping we do get a high scoring game. I can only imagine so. What I need to ask you, I need a tip for my fantasy football. Will Iheanacho be playing, or will Daka walk straight in with Vardy? Because I know Daka's quite like for Vardy. He's got that pace, he gets in behind. So just off topic, help me out with a fantasy football. Will Iheanacho start?
What I would say, if Iheanacho starts scoring, put him in the team. Once he goes on a run, he's one of those players that just goes, I'll score. He's very confidence-based. So if he does get a goal, that's what you got to look. Add him to your watch list. But do I know? No. I mean, he's all over. Like, for example, even in pre-season, I know it's not the best time to judge, but he has penalties, skied it over the bar. 2 days later, he's getting a penalty to make it 3-3. He puts it away. And that's the kind of player he is. Again, apologies if the internet is it's just going haywire at the moment. But yeah, I would say another player as well. For Scott, just kind of on the same topic. I know you were looking at taking Fofana out. Obviously, I'd recommend putting Ryan Bertrand in because he's looking very good and probably our starting left back against Villarreal. I think he assisted twice. And so imagine 2 assists, keep a clean sheet. I think he's only 5 mil as well. So that's what I'd recommend as well. I know you were thinking about, but it was just all over the place with the whole thing yesterday. But just a recommendation as well for both of you.
Yeah, I'll definitely look out for that. I need a defender to replace Fofana now.
You need a whole new team, mate. That's what you need. Your team is dead.
We won't make this a fantasy football show, but no, I mean, yeah. I mean, James's strike force is terrible at the moment.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. Coming back to your original question, I do think there will be goals. I think Bruno Lage is basically, if he's gonna, in my opinion, keep us up, he's gonna have to score goals. It's not going to be from our defence. I know we've signed a new keeper, Jose Sarr, who you might come on to, but yeah, we're going to have to win a lot of games by outscoring opposition, in my opinion. So I do think I think if I'm going to put a bet on for our first game of the season, I would go goal in each half and over 3 goals in the game. 3 or more.
So just after that, Scott, what are your predictions and what do you think for this first match in terms of goals and results?
Yeah, so I do. I'm actually going to contradict everything James has said. I think you're going to be seeing a 2-0 Leicester win. I think it's going to take time to get out of Nuno ball. It's not going to happen overnight. Nuno killed any attacking hope we had in our season last season. And the players aren't just going to change in a blink of an eye. Everyone's saying that it's going to be a very different style, but it's going to take time. And I think because of that, I can only see a Leicester win. I don't think we'll score. I think and with the defensive situation, unfortunately, I've got to go for a 2-0 Leicester win. And as I say, I think we'll come strong in the second half of the season, but it's going to take a lot. We've got to change our whole philosophy. Large wants to change his whole philosophy, but when you've been stuck with a side which doesn't bother to attack for the first half, isn't very attacking minded, it's going to take time for his philosophies to come in and to kill off Nuno ball. So, yeah, I have to say that I'm hopeful under the new manager, but I don't see a great start to the season.
He's such a fucking dickhead, man. You fucking know.
I just could tell you're waiting to bite.
I'm not biting.
I'm talking. I was like,
I'm not biting. This is not a Nuno video because we'll be here for hours, but move on. I think.
Well, I guess we'll have to as well. Just like hopefully my internet can move on a little bit as well, because it's just all sorts of Wi-Fi issues. But again, we just like to finish there. But again, thank you guys for joining. Really, really appreciate it. Again, there'll be something over on James and Scott's channel as well from Sweet South Soccer. There's links in the description. I'll make sure to link the video below as well. But over to you, James. Just finish. Where can the people find you?
So you can find us on Twitter. You can find us on YouTube, obviously. Probably wouldn't go to Facebook. We stopped doing that after about a month of setting it up. And our Instagram has been dry over the summer because of the Euros. We haven't really been clipping. So we put short clips on Instagram, and we'll be doing that again starting from next week. So YouTube is www.youtube.com Sweet Sour Soccer. And it's the same for Twitter, isn't it, Scott?
Yeah.
Scott's the Twitter man. So that's Scott. He's the media man.
Yeah, Sweet and Sour Soccer. And we're Wolves fans, but we do a lot of general content. Like 90% of the stuff on there is just general football content. We're obviously doing a video with yourself as well, Neel, about Leicester, which hopefully your fan base would like. We're going to talk about why Leicester are basically leading the race to break up the Big Six. So basically, we're going to be kissing your asses a bit. So head over there, give us a sub. And yeah, leave it at that.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining. Again, links to everything in the description down below. We'll leave all the stuff. Make sure you go like and follow and all that good stuff. And we'll see everybody in the next video.